What's going on, boys? It's Kev from Run Pure Bets to break down a little UFC main event and co-main event for tonight's UFC Fight Night main card between Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. Let me pull up the odds here real quick. All right, so we got Leon Edwards coming in about a minus 270-ish favorite against Bilal Muhammad. Comeback on him right now about plus 220. So it's been about 600 days, I think, since we've seen Leon Edwards, obviously one of the most underrated fighters in the welterweight division for a long time. But we're finally going to get a chance to see him. We should have saw him in that span probably 4 times. But Leon Edwards has had some extraordinary bad luck. Fighters dropped out of multiple fights that he was supposed to be in. I think COVID got him. So it's been a while, but we're finally going to get to see him in the cage on Saturday night against an extremely tough out in Bilal Muhammad, who we just saw destroy Diego Lima about a month ago in really impressive fashion. So I guess we'll start with Leon Edwards. I think he should be the favorite in the fight. I'll touch on just how big a favorite I think he should be in a couple minutes, but he does come in off a really long layoff. However, I do think that he should be the favorite. When you stack skill sets up in this fight, I think both Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards are really solid strikers. I'd give Edwards the edge from range. I would give Bilal Muhammad the edge in the pocket. I think they both have really solid wrestling bases and overall really rock solid MMA ground games. I'd probably give the edge to Leon Edwards in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and top control, but I would give the edge to Bilal Muhammad in terms of his takedowns and ground and pound. So I think that they're really both solid fighters in the clinch. It's pretty much a draw there. So why do I think that, Edwards' skills are slightly more refined than Bilal Muhammad? I think these two fighters are much closer than the betting lines represent. There's no way that, in my opinion, that you can back Leon Edwards at this price against somebody that is as game as Bilal Muhammad. Whether you win or you lose, I think it's a bad bet. So 2 things that I would keep my eye on. 1, they are both decision machines, especially Bilal Muhammad. That's why the total is about 4.5 rounds, and it's juiced, because my gut says we probably see the judges' scorecards in this fight. So you can probably use the over 4.5 rounds as a parlay piece in like, if you want to put together a 2-fighter parlay. I don't mind throwing over 4.5 rounds in there. And the second thing I would keep my eye on is pace. I think ring rust is a real thing. 600 days is a long time, man. It's been a while since Leon Edwards has been in the cage. So, a lot of times when you see a fighter coming in off a long layoff that has had multiple fight camps, been training his ass off, but just never gets into the cage, sometimes they burn themselves out in the gym and they come into a fight flat. Do I expect Edwards to be flat tonight? Not really, but I do think it's something to keep your eye on. He's fighting in a 5-round fight against a fighter in Bilal Muhammad that sets an incredible pace. And I don't see how Bilal Muhammad tires in the fight. Granted, we really only see him in 3-round fights in the UFC, but he looks fresh as a daisy at the end of 3 rounds almost every single time he's in there. So I expect Bilal Muhammad to be able to run that motor high for 25 minutes. Now, Bilal Muhammad did fight a month ago, but it was basically a sparring session. Anybody that watched that Diego Lima fight Bilal Muhammad took basically no damage at all. Little damage to his leg, but from all the interviews that I've read and video footage that I've seen, he feels really good. He says that the leg is solid, and he don't think it'll be an issue tonight, and I believe him. So at the end of the day, I just don't see these odds being a fair representation of the chances that both these fighters have. I think that plus 225 is a great price on somebody that is as game and as complete of a fighter as Bilal Muhammad is. So I'm going to take Bilal Muhammad here at plus 225. Obviously, when you bet plus 225s in MMA, realize you only need to win 3 out of 10 times to break even, which means you'll probably lose 7 of those 10. So bet responsibly when you're betting on plus 225 dogs in any sport. I think that we're in good shape taking him at plus 225. However, if you want a little more bang for your buck, I think FanDuel last night had Bilal Muhammad by decision at plus 450. Considering all the guy does is win by decision, I don't think that that's a bad play either. I contemplated going the decision route and betting him by decision at plus 440 or 450. But in the end, I thought the price was good enough on Bilal Muhammad at plus 225 to just take the shot there. I love Leon Edwards. Had he been in his fight against Khamzat Chimaev, I would have been on Edwards strong as a plus 160 dog. As a plus 270 favorite in his first fight back in 600 days against somebody as good as Bilal Muhammad is, I'm just going to go the other way and take my chances. So main event, give me Bilal Muhammad at plus 225. All right, one more fight, co-main event. Ryan Spann, Misha Cirkunov. Lines have moved. I threw Misha Cirkunov on the spreadsheet at about a $1.20 favorite. At that time, the comeback on Ryan Spann was about plus 105. Right now, Misha's taking money today. He's up to minus 140 in some spots. Ryan Spann up to $1.20 in some spots, plus 120. Now, if you do want to back Misha Cirkunov, FanDuel still has him at minus 126. I don't mind that if you can get in on that at FanDuel. Aside from that, if you want to back Misha Cirkunov in the fight, I would hope that Ryan Spann takes round 1 and you can get on Misha Cirkunov live should he drop the first round. The fight really comes down to one question to me, and that's, can Misha Cirkunov get Ryan Spann to the ground and control the fight on the ground as he works for a submission before Ryan Spann gets hands on him and possibly knocks him out? My gut says yes. I'm not a big Ryan Spann fan. He seems like this week's Megan Anderson to me. He very much looks the part, but the work is a lot worse than the bite. Now, he's been working on his stand-up game the past few fights, but how much has it improved? Didn't look good in his last fight against Johnny Walker. It took Walker about 2 minutes before he put Spann to sleep. But, you know, I don't really fault Spann that much for that loss. I do think that Johnny Walker seems to be a much more advanced prospect right now than Ryan Spann is. But my issue with backing Ryan Spann and the everlasting bad taste in my mouth is the Sam Alvey fight. Now, the judges gave that fight to Ryan Spann, but he did not look good in that fight against Sam Alvey. I thought that the fight was a draw. And if I'm questioning whether or not you beat Sam Alvey in 2020, that's a really bad look, man, because Sam Alvey's best days are far behind him. So Misha Serkinov comes into the fight off a long layoff. His last fight was in 2019. He looked really good against a solid prospect on the come in Jimmy Crute. Got the win there by submission in round 1. Looked excellent. And then he was forced to have bicep surgery. He tore his bicep, and that kept him out of the cage for a solid year and a half. But he is only 34 years old, still in his prime. Do I think it will tremendously affect him in this fight? Probably not. So I felt pretty comfortable. I think Misha Serkinov is a far more complete MMA fighter right now than Ryan Spann is. Now, can Ryan Spann beat Misha Serkinov? Yeah, he could. Serkinov's been knocked out before, and it wouldn't shock me to see him get buzzed here once or twice. And if Spann hits the button perfect, you know, he definitely put Misha Serkinov to sleep. But I feel like at the very least, I've got the better fighter in Misha Serkinov, and the people that have knocked him out in the UFC have been far better fighters than Ryan Spann. So I'm willing to take the shot. Another issue for Spann is he tends to fall into these wrestling and clinch exchanges when he doesn't have to. He could be beating you up on the feet, and he always seems to fall into the clinch or to wrestling exchanges. And that's exactly where Misha Serkinov wants this fight to be. I think that Ryan Spann gravitates towards those exchanges naturally, and he probably will in this fight. And that's why I felt good getting on Serkinov here at minus 120. Would I get on him at minus 140? No. I would take the minus 126 at FanDuel. If you cannot get FanDuel and get that line, you have to hope that Ryan Spann takes round 1 and you hop on Misha Serkinov right before round 2 starts at a plus price. That would be the way that I would go. Lucky for our Run Pure Bet subscribers, gave it out early in the week. They were able to get the minus 120 on Serkinov, and that's it. So to recap, we'll go with the dog, Belal Muhammad, in the main event at plus 225. I don't mind taking him by decision at plus 450. And in the co-main, we will take Misha Serkinov. We got him at minus 120. Like I said, I would take that minus 126 on FanDuel, or hope Spann takes round 1. Another angle you can go is just to take Misha Serkinov by submission. If he does win this fight, there is a good chance that it could be by submission. That might be a route that you want to go in the co-main event. But aside from that, that's it, boys. I'll be live all weekend long. Tonight, I will be live for the Run Pure Bet subscribers. And then Sunday, we're going to be live for free, obviously, on the only live betting show that fucks on Sundays. That NASCAR shows up 82 units in 4 weeks. Me, Coop, Mikey have been doing a great job. Run Pure Sports has the best NASCAR team in the country. It's not even close. So we'll be live tomorrow afternoon on the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel. And then after that, JJ will be live for a little post-bracket release show where he's going to break down the whole bracket for college basketball and March Madness. And that's it. I'll be back at 4:30 with NASCAR video with Coop for tomorrow. About 4:30 today, we'll be on the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel. And then I'll be live all night long for our Run Pure Bet subscribers. So I will see you in a little bit. Aside from that, I hope your action runs pure this weekend, and I'll see you soon.